are. In a sense, boys and girls grow up in different worlds. We tend to play with other children of the same sex. So boys play with boys, girls play with girls, and they have very different ways of playing. It's typical for boys to play in larger groups, play outdoors. It's the activities that are central. Doing things together is what makes them best friends. There are high-status boys and low-status boys. And the high-status boys give orders and they push the low-status boys around, and that's part of what gives them their high status in the group. Typically, a little girl has a best friend, and she spends a lot of time inside talking to her friend. And it's the talking that makes them friends. Girls learn to emphasize the ways that they're the same as the other girls, and downplay the ways that they might be better. So whereas a little girl who tells other girls what to do is bossy, a little boy who tells the other boys what to do may end up being the leader. In eavesdropping on little boys at play, our cameras picked up a typical example of how the boys emphasize the ways that each one is better and try to top each other when they talk about how high they can hit a ball.
Mine's all the way up to there. Mine's up to the sky. Oh! Oh man! Mine's all the way up to heaven. Mine's... Oh! Mine's up all the way up to God.
Look how different the little girls are. Rather than trying to one-up each other, they're looking for ways that they're the same. In this example, the first little girl says, "Did you know my babysitter, called Amber, already has contact lenses?" And the second little girl says that her mother and her father also have the same thing.
Did you know my babysitter called Amber had already contacts? My mom has already contacts and my dad does too.
Not only does she repeat the idea, but she even picks up the peculiar phrasing, "has already contacts."
The same?
So you can see, having learned our assumptions about how people talk to each other from experiences like this in our childhood, that the men would be attuned to whether people are trying to one-up them or put them in a one-down position. And that's why they come to interactions looking through this status lens. And why women instead are looking through this connection lens. How are we the same? And if you come to the same conversation with these different lenses, you can come out having seen something very different. Bear in mind, too, that I won't be showing right and wrong ways of speaking. Both men and women in all our conversations are establishing connections while taking into account status differences. But women are more likely to focus on whether a conversation brings them closer or pushes them farther apart. And men are more likely to focus on whether the conversation puts them in a one-up or one-down position. One of the companies that participated in this project is Chevron Overseas Petroleum Incorporated in California. Here we found an example of a man looking through the lens of status, while a woman is looking through the lens of connection. Margie is a senior staff geologist. On this day, she's meeting with a petroleum geologist named Dieter. Margie tries to close this meeting looking through the connection lens. She tries to establish an image of all of us as one big happy family.
And that way, Erwin will be happy, and I'll be happy, and you'll be happy if I'm happy.
The part of this that Dieter picks up on, looking through the status lens, is that Margie's the boss, and that she has power over him.
I always want you to be happy, Margie.
I know you do,
because
Dieter.
You make my life unhappy when you aren't happy.
This difference in focusing on status or connection even shows up in